you so much for having me here today. It's an honor to be speaking at my home church. And I've known many of you through wonderful hugs and conversations, and today I get to deliver a message for you. And I'm going to start by singing a song by one of the artists you might have heard. Can you turn me down a little bit? And it's called I Am, and it's by Fia. She is a Swedish artist. You've been trying to put me in a box, saying this is it, you'll never be enough. Take those dreams and put them on a shelf. And for many years I was holding back, thinking I should be more like this or that. But then I saw the real truth of it all. No, I am not who you think I am. I am so much more. I am one with Source. I am limitless, infinite, powerful, abundant, complete from the start, creator of all I am, that I am. Yes, I am, that I am. And I've been stuck in thoughts, doing it their way. Didn't listen to the things my heart would say, letting fear take over and decide. But then I realized that the choice was mine. Oh, I could feel a shift, and I began to shine, living an empowered and beautiful life. Oh, I am not who you think I am. I am so much more. I am one with Source. I am powerful. I am limitless, infinite, powerful, abundant, complete from the start, creator of all I am, that I am. Yes, I am, that I am. And therefore, everything around could fall apart, and I would still have love in my heart. Open eyes, now I see that there is nothing for me to do, just be. No, I am not who you think I am. I am so much more. I am one with Source. I am powerful, wonderful, infinite, abundant, complete from the start, creator of all. Thank you. Sorry for the issues. Thank you. So what am I here to say? That's kind of the talk of what we're talking about. I'm here to say kind of what was spoken about in the song. I am, and you are, and that we are reflections of each other. And we are reflections of the one Source that lives within us, that is present in and around us, even when we're not here in church. I'm here to say that you are enough. I'm here to say that it doesn't have to be this way. I'm here to say that all of the lies that we've believed, the feelings of being manipulated and beaten up or down by everyone around us in the world, but mostly ourselves, it doesn't have to be this way anymore. And this thought came to me when a dear friend of mine called me up on the phone and said, if you only had 6 months to live, what would you be doing? He asked me to answer this as if it was in the present context, as if I was doing this right now. And immediately I saw myself on top of a building, screaming a message to everyone that could possibly even hear me. And then I saw myself on another building, and just traveling all over the world to all these buildings screaming. And I was screaming about what the truth of our lives was, and the truth of what our existence is. So that as many people as possible, as many people as could hear me, could wake up from this nightmarish existence and dream of self-imposed limitations, of self-victimization, and of fear-based mentalities. And instead, they would wake up to love and abundance and freedom. And then the thought came to me, if I'm on these buildings screaming something, what am I going to say? What am I here to say? What would my message be? Did you know that you are your own worst bully? Did you know that the reason you can't fall asleep at night is you? Did you know that the person actually making you miserable is also just you? Well, it's not usually the you that you're aware of, it's the you that's subconscious. The you that was scared and reactive, and an attempt to be loved, an attempt to love, it's that you that's hiding. A you that's got these voices. The inner critic, the parent, the mean teacher, or the bully at school, or your horrible boss, they live inside of us, wearing these masks to hide, to keep us disillusioned, to keep us in fear, to keep us under control. And unfortunately, we carry the weight of their message closer to our hearts than we often should. And usually, even if they come in different voices and they come in different shapes and sizes, they're all saying the same thing. They're saying, I am not enough. I'm not worthy. They have us believe this so that we can't even tell what's true. And that's where our victimization starts. For years, for almost all of my life, I struggled with self-victimization. I still struggle with it. I knew I could choose, but I didn't act in the belief that I was in control. And my inner voice would always say, oh, woe is me, that the world is so hard and tough and mean, and I'm going to try anyway and persevere. But I was making myself out to be a martyr. And in my martyrdom, I was still a victim of my circumstance. I allowed all of these things to take advantage of me, to use me, to walk all over me, including myself. I used myself, and I didn't know. I wasn't aware. In my work, in my personal life, in the subtlest ways, I created my self-victimization. It was my perception of what a person said. I didn't recognize that everything I blamed another person for or identified with from what one person said to me or did, that every person that ever made me believe I was a victim was me. It was my choice to take those things in and decide that that was true. I chose to hear and take that message because I was operating from a deep-rooted sense of insecurity out of the lack of love flowing in my life. I didn't realize that the control was mine. I didn't realize that it was what I was perceiving, not necessarily what was even said. They could have said something completely different, but I took it how I did. I heard, great job, but inside I heard, you're not good enough. I got a hug and someone moved on, and I was focusing on the presence of being alone, being left alone, even if I wasn't. In so many ways, verbally contextualized, seen and unseen, I was creating my own experience of victimization. I alone felt unworthy, unheard, and not understood, not because I was alone or unworthy, but because I didn't communicate. I didn't clarify. I didn't lean in when I was uncomfortable and speak up. And instead, I let my perceived pain grow like a blanket of thorns over my heart. I was truly so hungry for love and acceptance, but I couldn't open myself up to receive it because I didn't know how to love myself. Though I could love the others around me, I couldn't find love for myself. I took everything as criticism and was critical of myself. I didn't see that I was loved already. I didn't realize this was self-imposed pain and struggle. I didn't realize that in my martyrdom I was not standing up for myself and honoring myself, or the truth of who I am. The truth that lives inside of me, that is always present in and around me, whether or not I'm focusing on it or not. I didn't realize that in not communicating my needs, I couldn't receive help. Or accept it, for that matter. But how can we get there when we are victimizing ourselves and seeing the world as this bad place, and in that reflection, seeing ourselves as being in a bad place or having a badness inside of us? It's the deep-rooted unforgiveness of ourselves and of our world and of all of the experiences in our lives that holds us hostage. And it's also the forgiveness of that self, of the world and my experiences, that gives me the grace to move on and to feel redemption. To become aware that I never even actually had to be redeemed. Aware that I am exactly who I am meant to be in every moment. Because as I'm going through life, I am growing through life. And each challenge or pain, it's a part of what is meant to teach me to open up and expand my perspective and the world. That in leaning into the discomfort and the pain, that is the opportunity for healing. That is the opportunity to open and receive the love. When I'm feeling the blockage in my heart and I don't want to share, that is the moment that I need to call myself out and share. That is the moment that I need to step away from the walls that I'm creating and to invite in love, forgiveness, compassion, and grace, and hold it for myself and for all of the others around me. As I started to hold this compassionate dignity for myself, I began to forgive the world, forgive myself, and learn how to love myself. I became aware that everything is perfect and divine, that there is undeviating justice in all circumstances of life, regardless of if I can understand it. That I am not, in fact, a victim of my circumstance, but that my life is a reflection of the choices and the decisions that I've made. My life is a reflection of me. These experiences, they happen for us, not to us. They teach us to expand, to see ourselves in the world more wholly, in all of its beauty and contrast. That the light gives depth and perception to the dark, and without it we wouldn't have the dimensions that we get to enjoy. And in beautiful contrast, in accepting that shadow as well, I learned that every person I admired, every person I loved, everything I loved and ever cared for was also a deep and beautiful and powerful reflection of me and what I loved and what I cared for and what was already a part of me. It was always me. It has always been me. It has always been you. Everything we perceive to be outside of ourselves is ourselves. that am experiencing the sensations to even create an understanding of my own perfectly contrived and perceived world. I that am experiencing the sensations to create an understanding of my world. Everything that we are experiencing, we are filtering through our own minds and our unique perspectives. Our worldviews are completely different and unique to who we are. A culmination of those tiny, intricate moments that meant something to us, that we decided created meaning for ourselves, that we decided created our identity. What we loved, what we cared for, what we don't care for. Everything we experience is us experiencing ourselves. And when we recognize that, we can take full responsibility, full self-authority, full ownership of ourselves, our lives, and our choices. When I finally realized this, I realized that in a large part of my daily experience, I was lying to myself. Lying to myself about who I am, what I'm capable of, what I've done, what I believed was possible. I took for granted all of the things that I had, that I have, all of the things that I am. I took myself for granted because I was stuck in the cycle of self-ridicule rather than self-love. And I projected this non-acceptance out into the world. Because I couldn't accept myself, I couldn't accept anything else. But once I woke up to the lies and that realization and the true connectedness that I have to everything, I can reclaim my power. I do reclaim my power. And in order to make my life better, I needed to stop lying to myself. Stop letting the judgments and the criticisms become the main focus of what I'm experiencing, and instead forgive myself, see myself in compassion, see myself in love, see myself in the world and all of it in love. Seeing things truly as they are. And I started asking myself the question, what is true? Is this true? What does this experience have to teach me about myself? I recognize that anything I could not accept was a deep reflection of what I cannot accept within myself. In subtle, small ways, I began to unravel the deep seeds of self-victimization that I allowed to be planted in my psyche and around my heart. And every day I work on this. Every day I remind myself to throw away the sense that I am now or can ever be a victim again. And now instead of criticism, I find gratitude for the people around me that make me feel loved, supported, and appreciated. All of you here today, for this moment, for everything that I am, for everything that I have, even if it's gone. It all is here. Everything that is happening to me, in me, around me, as me, through me. Even if I can't understand it. Because God knows, we all know that there are going to be things that we don't understand. Things that happen that we can't make sense of. But I have to trust and recognize again that there's undeviating justice in all circumstances of life. And have compassion. And recognize that the person who is spewing out their misery is even more miserable themselves. Is living their own miserable life harder and more painful than what they're putting out on me or someone else. And in that way I can have compassion. In that way I can hold grace. In that way I can have gratitude. Because they serve as a reminder to love deeper. To challenge myself in the lies that I tell myself, in the lies that we each tell each other. And then be grateful for the clarity and the love that we continue to receive. I can now appreciate through my expansion of my once limited perspective. For I'm not a victim. I'm not a martyr. I'm not a survivor. That's still a victim mentality. I'm not a thriver either, because it means I'm fighting against something. The only person I'm fighting against is myself, to seek to find more love, to seek to find more peace. And in that fight, it's not a fight at all, it's a surrender. It's a hands up, I surrender, I let it go, I accept it as it is, and I embrace it fully, even if it's lashing out at me in pain as I go in for a hug. I am that I am. I am always transforming, always growing, always changing. And it's funny because when we change, nothing outside of ourselves changes. It's just our perception of the world, of ourselves that changes. So therefore, everything that we ever want to become, to be, to have, it's already here, presently inside of us. If we just allow our perception and our focus to expand, to become aware of it. So day by day and one by one, I am cutting back these thorns, trimming them away to reveal a beautiful rosebush that has grown around my heart. And every day I remember that I can reclaim all of those parts of myself that I left behind in a person or a place or a time and space, because we all know that time is a contrived concept anyway. That failure and success only live within the confines of time, as my friend Sam says. So can you see yourselves now? And know that those experiences of joy and laughter, the experiences of ourselves that we remember from a time in a place with a person in that space, is still a part of me now. And that those places, those things, they brought out aspects of who I am. They were inspired by those things, but those things are me still. They live inside of me. They are parts of me that I don't have to leave, I can reclaim now, in this moment, and in every moment hereafter, whether you're in church or not, knowing that this is a part of me, that this is always a part of me, that I am one with Source. And I remember all those versions of me that are alive inside. I remember the moments where I shined because I was radiating love from the center of my being, of my truest self. That is my eternal, forever self. And that is the truest self that I call upon in every moment that I feel less than. To cast out my lies and reclaim me, what is mine, what is my truth. So I invite you to call upon that version of yourself. Call upon the time that you cherished yourself most, now, and cherish yourself in this moment. And as you do, you might find that that negative ego talk will come up and tell you no and try to bring you down. But you tell that voice no back. You don't allow it to stay and settle in or invite it to dinner. You cast it out and reclaim your power now. Remember the truth of who you are. Because the truth is that you are enough. You are worthy. You are loved. You are one with Source, powerful, infinite, abundant, complete from the start. Creator of all. You are. I am. We are. And then from that place that is truly you, lean in and listen. And ask yourself, what am I here to say? And then say it. That's it. Thank you for having me.